All right, everybody knows all guests on ZASLOW Show 2.0 brought to us by the official beer of the program, Johnny Cuba, European roots with that Caribbean soul. This is how you get the weekend started, a refreshing German lager in a can. Make sure you always drink responsibly. And, of course, don't forget Johnny Cuba's mantra, stay tranquilo. Joining us here, it is a Friday. We have college football week 1. That means there are bets to be made, bets to be won. Mark Zinno, he is our new pal, ESPN Radio. He hosted yesterday with me, Canty and Carlin. Hello, Mark. How are you this morning? Good to have you aboard the program.
Zaz, always great to be with you. It's always good when you get a pair of Z's together. Let's just keep everybody awake. Let's do it.
There you go. I've had fun doing shows with you on ESPN Radio, man. You've made it easy, you know? And so I've been doing shows for a couple of weeks now. And people like yourself, I got to be honest, I'm having a lot more fun doing these shows than I thought I was going to. Like, I thought it was going to be stuffy. It was going to be very cookie cutter. I don't feel that way. I feel like I'm getting to do shows pretty much the way that I want to do it. And I'm doing it with people who are fun. I've been very pleased with how it's gone so far.
No, same. I mean, listen, it's been a very interesting summer. It's my first foray into ESPN as well. So I also, like you, am kind of feeling this whole thing out, but it has been better than expected. I'll say that.
Yeah, pretty cool. So look, you're all over the gambling side, all right? And it's Friday, it's football season. I figure let's start things off week 1. Let me get Mark Zinno on the program here. Let's see if he can give us some winners. First of all, you told us yesterday you got to stay away from the Florida Gators. That game, oh my God, that game. It was so bad, that game, Mark.
Yeah, I've had a bunch of arguments about Graham Mertz with some very respected people in the gambling industry and how bad he is. And people would say, well, he's not in Paul Chryst' system anymore. It's completely different. He's going to be better. And look, Graham Mertz didn't play bad last night. Just Florida's not good. And that's the difference. They're just not a good football team right now. Utah, I don't even think played their best football at all. There were a bunch of mistakes that they made in that game that they could have capitalized on. So I think Florida's got some growing pains on the offensive side of the ball that they have to get through. But, you know, Utah did that physical thing that Utah does. You know, they pound the rock and they play defense and they kind of choke you out a little bit. And really they set the tone from the beginning of the game with that 70-yard touchdown pass where it was a great play action design and Utah took advantage. Florida wasn't ready for it. And, you know, it's kind of, that was the end of it. It was kind of over before it started, but first half under and Utah were the right sides last night.
Yep. You told us that. You said you were thinking about first half under. You told us you can't play Florida. So you were right about both of those. Let's go over some of the big games for tomorrow, college football, some of the bigger names, college football tomorrow, week number 1. As far as the ranked teams, the heavy favorites, are you willing to lay points with any of them saying, I know they're going to smoke them. I'm willing to lay the points. Let's do it.
Yeah, one of the teams I've already backed and gotten to the window on is Tennessee. Now, this number has moved. I got it at 27.5. I'm seeing 28s across the board. With 28, you just have to be willing to concede that you're going to get a push. That half point is matters a lot. But there's not a way that Virginia slows down this offense. Like, I know there's concerns about Joe Milton and everything else, but it's his third year in the system. Look, Josh Heupel has proven time and time again that he's got an offense that works. And even if Joe Milton isn't great, they still got 2 dynamic running backs there. They have speed all over the offensive side of the ball. And they were the fastest paced team in football last year as far as number of plays they ran on offense. That's not going to change. I mean, even if Milton isn't great, he still can make plays with his legs. He doesn't have to be terribly accurate. It's a complete mismatch for Virginia, who might be one of the bottom 3 worst Power 5 teams in the country. I know there's some motivation for them coming back after the terrible events that happened last year at the end of their season. This is their first game back, but it's not like this game is in Charlottesville, Virginia. It's at Nissan Stadium, a huge venue that the Volunteers know well. The last time they opened up here, they smoked Bowling Green. It's going to be a huge party in Nashville. Tennessee should romp this team very easily.
What about getting the day started? I mean, a lot of eyes are going to be on the number 2 ranked team in the country, Michigan. It's a noon game tomorrow. Are you willing to lay what looks like 36 points?
It's probably a little bit too rich for my blood. You know, when you look at the games and the way that they are laid out here, Zaz, and this is something I always do in college when I get these big spreads, is I look at the total and I look at the spread, right? And you have to figure out the difference between them. So I got to lay 36 points with a spread of 51. So it only gives me a 15-point difference. So is there a way that this game can stay under and Michigan can still cover? Yeah, they have to win it like 45-3. And do I really believe that's possible? Because if East Carolina gets to 13, they're probably going to cover this number because Michigan's only going to score about 45. So, that's the danger in here when I see totals and sides that sort of leave me a tighter window to get through as far as being able to stay under and still cover the number. I would say that there's probably a garbage touchdown waiting for East Carolina somewhere late that may end up backdooring this thing, so I won't touch this number.
Now, Mark, how about a couple of these evening games in case we're trying to chase a little bit? Maybe we didn't do so well during the day. You got Penn State that's on NBC tomorrow night. You got Alabama that's on the SEC network. These are high-profile, top 10 teams. How do we feel about those games?
I mean, I there are a lot of other big numbers out there that I'm not going to touch. I mean, Texas A&M's laying 38 points. I have no idea what that offense is going to look like. Even though Bobby Petrino's there and things have changed, I can't lay 38. Like, I'm not taking New Mexico because, again, that's not a very good program. But, it's just a game I'm not going to get involved in. The Penn State thing is interesting at 20.5. I mean, you're under a key number of 21. And by key number, we just mean, hey, look, that's 3 touchdowns. You can 35-14 makes you a winner. Whereas if it's 21.5, 35-14 makes you a loser. So you're in that spot right here. Penn State's got a new quarterback. They have a new offense. It is a Power 5 team still, so you have to sort of respect them. It's a tough place to go into Happy Valley and play, and this is sort of that whole, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Pittsburgh, West Virginia, and even though I know Penn State's nowhere near Pittsburgh, so to speak, but it's that backyard rivalry that has always gone on. I would wait and see. I'd want another data point on Penn State. I'd stay away from them. Alabama it's too many points to lay with a new quarterback and, again, a new offense. I think there are some games out there that are interesting. I mean, if you want to watch the North Carolina-South Carolina game, you're getting defense versus offense, or a whole lot of offense, I should say, at least with South Carolina and Spencer Rattler. And, of course, Drake May, who's getting Heisman consideration. I think that's a good one. But if you keep scrolling down a little farther, there is one play that I have that's an underdog that might be a live dog to win the game outright, and that's South Alabama against Tulane, 24th ranked Tulane, who lost their quarterback and their top rusher in Tajay Spears from last year. This is a South Alabama team that returns 8 starters on the defensive side of the ball. And this is a Tulane team that may be feeling themselves a little bit too much here. South Alabama has everything to pull off the upset in this spot here, particularly defensively. They're a very good, fast defensive team, but they've got a great run game and an experienced quarterback here. I love the Jaguars of South Alabama here getting 6.5.
I got 2 more for you here, Mark, with local ties. Sunday night, I think everybody's looking forward to it. The game's up the road about 3 hours from here. Orlando, Camping World Stadium, FSU, LSU, Sunday night, ABC. LSU looking like a 2-point favorite. What do we like there?
I like Florida State getting the points. I mean, I don't know that the spread's necessarily going to matter here, John, and I really don't think it does. I think the winner of this game, either, LSU wins by more than a field goal, Florida State, wins by more than a field goal. Like, the spread's not really going to matter from that standpoint. That said, I love Florida State's defense. This is an elite defensive unit. Their secondary is awesome. They return as 7 or 8 guys on the defensive side of the ball. LSU doesn't really have a run game to speak of, and 2 of their running backs are hurt. Now, again, this is a little bit of a different scenario here because, they still have 4 or 5 scholarship guys, but there's not anybody with a lot of experience in that backfield. So if Jaden Daniels is going to make plays in this game and LSU is going to cover, he's going to do it with his legs. If you look at the 3 step-ups in class that Jaden Daniels had last year, talking about FSU in the opener, Georgia, and Texas A&M at the end of the season. Well, Texas A&M during the regular season, Georgia in the SEC championship game. He threw for 209, was the most that he threw in any of those games. Okay, didn't throw for 2 touchdowns on any of those games. So, the pass defenses of those teams are going to give him problems in the passing game, and he's going to have to do it all with his legs. I think Florida State's pretty well equipped to figure out how to slow him down. 1, they gave up 114 to him on the ground last year. Mike Norvell won't let that happen again. And 2, they go and practice against a pretty good quarterback who likes to run around, Jordan Travis. So I think they're well prepared to handle this. Florida State's the better team. It's not that I'm not buying the hype train of LSU and Jaden Daniels. I think they're going to be very good. But I think in this particular matchup here, Florida State, you could say, got lucky winning last year with the missed extra point because maybe LSU would have won that game in overtime. I feel like they had a lot of momentum late. But Florida State gave up some big explosive plays, and it was a 99-yard drive. Do you really want to ask Jaden Daniels to go 99 yards again with the game on the line to cover this thing? I don't, because I think Florida State's defense is better this year than it was last year. So I like the Seminoles.
Now, Mark, finally here, if I want to have some fun tonight, the Hurricanes are opening their season. I don't know how dialed in you are to Miami and Miami of Ohio, but do you feel any kind of way ACC Network tonight, Hurricanes open their season here at home?
I mean, I'd hate to say it to you, but I'd probably take the points from Miami of Ohio here. There's not a lot of faith I have right now in the Hurricanes offense and what they can do to separate from other teams. We just haven't seen them with any semblance of consistency. And in particular at the quarterback position. Like, I thought last year Tyler Van Dyke was going to be the guy that was going to elevate this program. Yeah. And all of a sudden they were going to, contend at the top of the ACC. And lo and behold, Middle Tennessee comes in and ruins everything from the outset and never got corrected. So I don't have a ton of faith here. And again, this is a low total for a college game. And it's a low total. You're asking Miami's defense to keep Miami of Ohio. You're asking the Hurricanes defense to keep Miami of Ohio to under 17 points in this game, because in reality, Miami would have to get to, 30-10 to keep this thing where it is. And is Miami's defense good enough to shut down Miami of Ohio for 60 minutes and keep them to 10 or 13 points? It's a tight window for this thing to stay under. And Miami's not an offense that you trust at this point to play in a lot of over games. So I lean on Miami of Ohio here. I won't get to the window on this game period. I'll sit back and watch it and see what the Canes are made of. But again, it's another tight window between the spread and the total.
It's all happening, man. College football week 1 tomorrow. Before we know it, we got the college football week 2 and NFL. That's when everything gets really batshit. Mark, excellent job today. I appreciate you hanging out with us. Tell everybody how they could catch you, social media, or how they could hear you. Are you on ESPN Radio at all this weekend?
I'm not on ESPN Radio this weekend, but I'm on Twitter at Mark Zinno, MarkZinno. Of course, all my betting content is there. Check me out at Wager Talk as well, at Sports Grid. All the stuff is on my Twitter and my Instagram at Mark Zinno, so they're both the same.
Awesome. Thanks, Mark. I appreciate it, man.
Got it, Zaz. Love you, brother.